Okay, so I just checked the mail and got a little parcel in the mail today. And it's from my friend Michael Cope. Michael Cope is a YouTuber. He's in Florida. And he is also redoing a Mercury Comet. I believe his is a 63. And the problem that I was having on my car is I had a leak on my brakes, and it was right at the master cylinder. And it was this little piece here that's called the connector. This is the connector, and these are just about impossible to find. So anyway, I took mine all apart, and I put it in the vise. And when I tried to run the fittings in to make sure that everything was clean and there was no burrs or anything, this completely split on me. So yes, I realize it's only brass, but you do have to snug up the brake lines so that they don't leak. So what I did is I was at a hardware store of some kind, or maybe an automotive store. I found this connector, and this connector did not have this has 3 ports. It goes right into the master cylinder, and then you have one line that feeds the back brakes. It splits into 2, and then the fronts are each line. There's a line on each side for each of the front wheels. So I found this one. It was only a 2 position. So I drilled and tapped a hole, and I was doing quite well. I had this fitting in, which was the same size as this. But what happens on this end is I drilled a little too deep and I lost, you gotta be able to go in so deep, so that the inner passage is open. But when the threads go in, when you thread the nipple in, it was actually blocking off the ports. So I went a little bit deeper, and I ended up, make a long story short, I drilled a little too deep, and there's no way for a brake line to seal in here. You need to have, I don't know if you can see that, you got to have an area for the seat. So anyway, I contacted my friend Michael Cope in Florida. Now, of course, I could go out and get another one of these and try this again, but he happened to have a spare one, and he just mailed it to me all the way from Florida. Heck of a guy. And here it is. So it is a connector, exactly like the one that belongs on the, I guess it's a Ford era car thing from the 60s. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to very carefully, because you see how old these fittings are. These have probably been on there since 1963 or so. So I'm going to take this down. I'm going to put this in the vise. I'm going to take a flare nut wrench, and I'm going to try to take this apart. I really hope I don't bugger this up. If I bugger this up, shit, I'm shit out of luck. I don't know. I'm going to try to take this apart, and I'm going to try to reinstall this on the car and hook up my brake lines. And like I said, the car has all new brake lines. It's just that I had a little tiny leak that just wouldn't go away. And ironically, the leak was not on this side. The leak was on this side. So I took everything apart. Like I said, I cleaned this up. This was all looking good. Then I thought, since I came this far, I'll clean all of them. And when I tried to do this one, it just completely fell apart. So let's put this in the vise. Let's see if we can get these off. I'm going to spray them, and I'm going to try to get these off. Hopefully it's all good. I could put this in the car, and then we'll have our brakes 100%. Let's see how we make out with this. Okay, well, the flare nut wrench is doing nothing. These are so mangled. I'm going to have to get some spray, maybe some heat, put a pair of vice grips on there. And I'm scared to death that I'm going to split this. Anyway, I got no choice. I got to try. Okay, I've got this soaked. Got a pair of vice grips on it. Okay, I think it's moving. Okay, it's moving. Let's hope and pray that it does not split. What does this look like? Okay. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but Let's assume this is good for now. See if I can get the other two off. Success. The other one's in the garbage. Alright, I clean this up a little bit more. Let's throw this in the car. See if we can get our brakes back. Come on. Okay, my new connector is in place. It looks good. I got my lines reattached. I just made up a new line for the passenger side wheel. It's not very nice. It's not very... Yeah, but it's a little bit too long. That's the problem. But I could probably work it a little bit. But for now, my reservoir is full. I've got a good pedal. I have just pumped the brakes. I've bled them. And as of right now, I'm going to knock on wood. This is not wood, but I'm going to knock on it anyway. I have brakes. Well, I had brakes, and then I developed a leak. Now I got brakes again. So Michael Cope, my friend from Florida, he also has a channel. It's called Michael Cope. And he's got a couple of shorts on there. He's just getting started, I think, with the YouTube thing. Anyway, he's a great guy. He's very helpful. And he sent me this part all the way from Florida. And, from Florida to Nova Scotia. Amazing. And it worked. It fit. And I'm looking for a leak and I don't see one. So I'm going to call this good. Michael, can't thank you enough. I do have lots of spare parts for the Comet. As you know, we've talked a little bit. I have a lot of trim. I've got a few bumpers, although they're very rough. I do have lots of trim. I probably have almost enough trim for 2 cars. So when it comes down to doing your trim, let me know, and I'll see what I have. Well, for now, I've got brakes again on the Comet. Very happy. Very happy right now. Okay.